Hey guys, what's going on? So, did you get your workout in yet today? And if you did, more importantly, did you have your Gatorade or your sports drink? Because I know here in Jersey, it's the middle of summertime. It's like in the 90s. Do a lot of sweating, and we're going to lose all those electrolytes. And I was reading something today that said that Gatorade is the most scientifically researched, game-tested way to replenish those precious electrolytes that we lose when we work out and when we sweat. My take on that is that it's a bunch of bullshit, and I'm going to give you my reasons why. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on YouTube. I certainly don't expect you to take anything that I say as gospel, but what I would hope is that you would take it and do your own research and draw your own conclusions and hopefully realize why I'm saying what I'm saying. So what exactly are electrolytes? They're just minerals that we have in our body. We get them from our food. If you're eating a relatively healthy diet, a whole food diet, it's the minerals are found in the food that we eat. And if you are eating a relatively healthy diet, you should have no problem with imbalances. Now, what could cause you to have an imbalance or to deplete them? Could exercise? Yeah. Extremely strenuous exercise if you're an ultra marathoner or triathlete. But if you're just an average Joe, like me and you, when you're doing a 30, 40, even an hour workout a day every couple of days, and you're otherwise healthy and you're not starting off with some type of imbalance, there's no reason to be guzzling this stuff thinking that you're doing yourself any good or somehow magically replenishing or balancing out your electrolytes. Now, there's a long list of them, but the two main ones that you hear about all the time, and the two that these sports drinks claim to replenish and balance out for you, is sodium and potassium. What could cause you to actually be deficient in them or to lose them or to have an imbalance? Well, there's quite a few things. First and foremost, like I mentioned, is the diet. And like most of us eat, the standard American diet, it's extremely high in carbohydrates, sugar, ultra-processed foods, which is, none of it is nutrient dense. So if you eat like that all the time, there's a good chance that you might be. If you have some type of illness, if you're taking some medication, especially a diuretic, if you have high blood pressure, and you're taking a diuretic, that could definitely cause you urinate a lot, so you're going to be losing electrolytes that way. If you have some type of organ issue, issue with your organs, liver, kidneys, that's definitely going to do with that. So there's a lot of things that could cause it. Now, how would you know? How could you find out for sure what your levels are with the electrolytes? Well, the most accurate way to tell is going to be a blood test, right, or a urine test. They could tell either way. There are some physical symptoms, but as you'll see, not that reliable. So just think about it, when you have like a really strenuous workout, think of the most strenuous workout you did. And at the end of it, did you feel dizzy? Did you feel fatigued? Was your heart beating a little bit? Maybe some heart palpitations, a little anxious or irritable? Worst case scenario, maybe vomiting. Okay, those are definitely signs of severe depletion of your electrolytes. Now, on the flip side, Gatorade is nothing but a bottle of sugar water. So if you're used to having a lot of sugar, if your body runs on sugar, on carbohydrate, you deplete that pretty quickly when you exercise. So right away, your body is looking for more sugar, right? And some of the signs of, when your blood sugar drops low quickly, maybe as a result of the exercise, some of the signs of that are things like being sweaty, being fatigued, feeling dizzy. You get extremely hungry, or what they call hangry, get a little shaky, some heart palpitations, you get a little anxious. So, it's kind of hard to tell. Is it the fact that you need the sugar, that your body is craving that sugar, or are you actually low on electrolytes? My guess is that for the vast majority of us, it's the fact that you just need some sugar. And this is true back in my YMCA days. And, like everybody else, I always ate a high carbohydrate diet. I relied on carbohydrates, which are broken down into sugar in your body. I would actually go into my workouts in the YMCA, and there was a candy machine, and I would buy a package of Chuckles, which are the sugar-coated jelly candies, and I would get a Hershey bar with almonds, because I knew that during my workout I would start to get a little shaky and hungry, because especially if I hadn't eaten and I was going to be working out for an hour or two, and I knew that my blood sugar was going to drop, and that's the fastest way to get your blood sugar up. Or drink a bottle of Gatorade, or do both. So getting back to the electrolytes, exactly how much of them do we actually need every day? Now again, we're going to stick with the two main ones, the ones that Gatorade and all these other sports drinks claim that they're going to replenish for you, the sodium and the potassium. Mainstream information that you find today says that you need 2,300 milligrams of salt per day, and that is based on absolutely nothing. You will not find any type of research done that could say that 2,300 milligrams is exactly how much you need a day to be a healthy individual. It's pretty much an arbitrary number. How they came up with it, nobody really knows. There is some research to indicate that it might be way more than that, possibly in the 5 to 6 or 8,000 milligram range. But for the sake of our conversation today, we're going to stick with, we're just going to go with, what they say it should be. And again, the medical community is going to tell you 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. So how much potassium do you need? Again, according to the mainstream medical community, they're going to tell you that you need 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day. How did they come up with that number? With some very, very shaky and sketchy research. I read a little bit of it. Kind of doesn't make any sense. But again, that's what they're saying. So for the sake of our conversation today, we're going to stick with 4,700. If you live in Europe, there are some countries over there that'll tell you that it's anywhere between 2,700, 3,000, 3,500, but here they're telling us 4,700. So I'm going to get into some numbers here, try and stick with me so we don't get lost. So now Gatorade tells you to drink Gatorade if you work out and you lose your electrolytes, and we're going to rebalance your electrolytes, and this is going to do the trick for you. So it's very common for me to see people in the gym, I see it pretty regularly, people in the gym with a 32-ounce bottle, a quart of Gatorade. And again, whether they're drinking it because they like it, or they think that it's doing them some good as far as electrolytes or some other health benefits, I don't know. But that's pretty common to see people with a quart of Gatorade at a gym. So we're going to go with that. Now, in a quart of Gatorade, you're going to find 440 milligrams of sodium if you drink that entire quart. So that means that in order to get 1 day's worth of sodium, what you need, or what they say you need in 1 day, you would have to drink over 5 quarts of Gatorade. Now, when we look at potassium, and again, we're going to stick with that number of 4,700 milligrams a day that they suggest, there are 140 milligrams of potassium in a quart of Gatorade, which means you would have to drink 33 and a half quarts of Gatorade to get a day's worth of potassium. Now, the only other thing that you're going to find in Gatorade, other than food coloring and dye, is going to be sugar. And 1 quart of Gatorade has 14 packets of sugar, which has 0 nutritional value, is not good for you, is going to lead to diabetes, and just has no other nutritional value, or there's no reason you should be drinking it other than the fact that it is addictive. So that's why I make my claim that the only reason why people are drinking the Gatorade is because they're hooked on the sugar, because they need the sugar. You're certainly not getting any appreciable amount of electrolytes, and if you were in a state where you needed to replenish electrolytes, the last thing you should be doing is guzzling down 14 packets of sugar. Now, let's say you insist on it, and you say, no, I want to replenish my electrolytes because I'm working out that hard. I might have an imbalance, and I feel like I do, and I want to replenish my electrolytes. If you insist on that, I'm going to give you a little recipe here that you could use. So again, we're going to talk about the 2 main electrolytes that these drinks claim to replenish for you. I have a way to do it a lot cheaper. It's not going to be bad for your health in any way, shape, or form. two things. Here's our sodium, right? We have just some pink salt. And then you can get potassium. It's actually potassium chloride. And that's when you see these salt substitutes, like this one's called new salt, which is, you use it as in place of salt. There's one called no salt. And you could even buy it you can go on Amazon and you could buy it in bulk. You could buy a powder, and it's just potassium chloride powder, okay? So what you would do is, as a starting point, you could take 1 quart or a liter of water, and then you're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt, of pink salt, okay? And that's gonna give you a little over 2,000 milligrams of sodium, which is almost, your day's recommended allowance of the sodium. If you want to go a little bit over a teaspoon and a quarter, that'll give you your 2,300 or thereabouts milligrams of sodium for the day. And with this potassium chloride, with the new salt, you would throw in about a teaspoon and a half. That is going to give you roughly your 4,700 milligrams, which is the recommended daily intake of it. And what I would suggest is you throw that in the water, again, a liter or a quart of water. You throw your teaspoon of salt, teaspoon and a half of potassium chloride, shake that up, and just drink that throughout the day. Just sip on it throughout the day. And it's just going to taste like salt water. And, see how you do that way. But again, if you look at the amounts that I quoted already, Gatorade or any of these sports drinks are nothing, again, but sugar water. If I were to rate, drinks as far as usefulness, nutritional value, I would probably it would be a neck and neck probably with cat piss and Gatorade or any of these sports drinks. I would put the cat piss probably right above the Gatorade, because if you drank the cat piss, you wouldn't become diabetic and rot your liver out. But, you drink the Gatorade long enough and enough of it, you will. So that's my take on everything, guys, that on these sports drinks. Again, you could, if you have another opinion, let me know in the comments. But again, just take the little bit of information that I gave you today, go do some research on it. And at the end of the day, if you have no other issues and you say, I don't care, I like Gatorade, I'm going to drink it, more power to you. Have at it. But if you're drinking it again under the guise of, I want to replenish my electrolytes, I'm doing something good for my health, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So you might want to rethink that. All right, so that's my take on it. Always appreciate you guys watching. Everybody get their reps in, and I will talk to you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.